The cold wind whipped through the cemetery gates as Lydia Harrington stepped out of her luxurious black car, the heels of her boots clicking against the stone path like a metronome of grief. She had promised herself she would be stronger this year, that she wouldn't cry the moment she saw her son's name etched in marble. But the closer she walked, the more her facade crumbled. She was a rich woman with everything money could buy, except the one thing she truly needed, her son back. As she approached the grave, she froze. Someone was already there. A young woman, hair drenched from the foggy drizzle, sat on her knees holding a baby tightly against her chest. Tears streamed down her face as she whispered something Lydia couldn't hear. It wasn't a relative Lydia recognized. It wasn't a friend she ever met. It felt like walking into a moment she wasn't supposed to witness. If you're new here, Lydia thought she could almost hear a voice say, "Join us, subscribe, so you never miss stories like this one," because what she was about to discover would change everything. Lydia cleared her throat gently, trying not to startle the stranger. The woman jolted and clutched the baby protectively, as if expecting danger. Her trembling gaze lifted eyes red and raw. I'm sorry," Lydia said, her voice soft yet filled with authority. "This is my son's grave." The woman's lip quivered. She shifted slightly, revealing the tombstone clearly. "Benjamin Harrington, beloved son. Forever loved." Lydia's heart squeezed painfully. 4 years gone, and still it felt like yesterday. The woman hesitated, then finally spoke in a shaky voice. "I know. I visit him too." Lydia blinked. "You knew Benjamin?" Silence. The baby whimpered, and the woman gently rocked it. "My name is Emily," she answered at last, "and this is his daughter." The world around Lydia seemed to tilt. Her breath vanished as though someone had stolen the oxygen from the air. Benjamin, a father, and she, his own mother, had never known. "That's impossible," Lydia whispered, more to herself than Emily. "My son would have told me. He told me everything." Emily closed her eyes, pain etched deep into her face. "No. He didn't tell you the things that hurt him." Those words sliced deeper than the wind. Lydia's mind raced, searching for logic, for a reason to reject what she was hearing. Even if that were true, why are you here? Why now? "Because," Emily said through tears, "we have nowhere else to go." The baby cried louder, hungry and cold. Instinct overrode shock. Lydia knelt down, pulling off her cashmere scarf and wrapping it around the infant. "You should have come to me sooner," she murmured. Emily's shoulders shook. "I tried. Your security team turned me away. They said you weren't interested in lies." Lydia's memory flickered. There had been a message months ago, a claim about her son. She dismissed it as an attempt to steal from her. Regret struck violently, like thunder inside her chest. "Tell me everything," Lydia insisted. Emily hesitated, but Lydia's expression, fragile yet fierce, convinced her to continue. She began to describe how she met Benjamin during his university years, how they fell in love quietly, away from the judgment of social class, how they planned a future together. But when Emily became pregnant, Benjamin panicked, not because he didn't want the baby, but because he feared Lydia's reaction. He always felt like he was disappointing her. Lydia blinked rapidly, refusing to let tears fall. "I never wanted him to feel that way." Emily nodded. He knew, but he also thought, maybe if he accomplished more first, if he proved himself, then he could tell you proudly. They both stared at his name on the stone. But then the accident. Emily whispered. He never got the chance. Silence wrapped around them like a shroud. The rain turned to a soft drizzle, tapping lightly onto marble and earth. "I've been raising her alone," Emily continued, "working 2 jobs. Thought I could handle everything myself. But the landlord kicked us out today. We had nowhere to go but here. To him." Lydia stood slowly, her expensive coat swirling in the wind. The steel in her spine returned, but now tempered by something warmer, deeper. "You should have never had to face this alone," she said firmly. "If she is Benjamin's child, then she is a Harrington. She deserves everything my son would have given her." Emily was stunned. "You believe me?" Lydia reached into her purse and pulled out a photo of Benjamin smiling, holding a newborn baby blanket he had purchased just before the crash. Lydia had thought it was for charity. Now the truth was clear. He knew all along. "I think I knew more than I wanted to admit," she said quietly. "I was too blinded by expectations to see my son's heart." Emily wept again, but this time not from fear. Lydia offered her hand. "Come with me. No more cold nights. No more being turned away." Emily stared at the gesture as if touching it might make her dream vanish. But then she placed her trembling hand into Lydia's. A fragile bridge finally built. As they walked toward the car, the baby giggled for the first time that day. Lydia's heart swelled with a feeling she hadn't allowed herself to feel in years, hope. But just before they reached the gate, another voice called out behind them, "Wait." A man in a worn jacket rushed toward them, his expression frantic. Emily tightened her hold around the baby. "Who are you?" Lydia demanded, stepping protectively in front of them. "I'm Thomas," he said breathlessly. "Ben's friend. I tried finding you too. There's something you need to know." Emily paled. Thomas, please, he shook his head. She deserves the truth. All of it. Lydia's pulse hammered. What truth? Thomas looked directly into her eyes, guilt and fury swirling behind his own. Benjamin didn't die in an accident. Lydia staggered, the ground pulling away beneath her. What are you saying? Thomas inhaled sharply. He was forced off that bridge. Someone wanted him gone. Someone powerful. Lydia's mind flashed with memories, business rivals, jealous investors, threats she dismissed as nonsense. Her husband, who passed just a year ago, had warned her to protect their son from corporate enemies. She never believed the danger was real. Who? Lydia demanded. Thomas swallowed hard. Your husband's partner, Victor Crane. Ben found proof he was stealing money. He confronted him. And days later, the crash happened. Lydia's blood turned cold. She remembered Victor's sympathetic handshake at the funeral, his polite condolences, and how he took over the company not long after. Emily clutched the baby tighter. Thomas, why now? Because Crane knows Ben had a child, Thomas said. He wants to silence anything tying the truth back to him. You're not safe. None of you. Lydia stepped closer, fury igniting like wildfire beneath her grief. Let him come, she said with a dangerous calm. I lost my son once. I will not lose his family too. Thomas nodded, relief on his face. He had chosen the right side. Back at the Harrington estate, Lydia's lawyers, security and trusted allies were alerted. She stormed through her own home like a general preparing for battle. Emily watched in awe, the weight of survival slowly lifting. Days passed, filled with investigations and tense uncertainty. And then the truth exploded. Victor Crane was arrested, exposed for embezzlement, murder conspiracy, and countless crimes buried beneath profits and power. Lydia publicly announced her son's daughter as the rightful Harrington heir. The media went wild, but Lydia focused only on the small family she had just found one evening after. Lawyers and cameras finally disappeared. Lydia stood on the balcony holding her granddaughter. The sun dipped low, painting the sky with Benjamin's favorite colors, warm oranges and soft golds. Emily stepped beside her. Do you think he knows? She asked quietly. Lydia smiled through tears. I think he's been guiding us to this moment. The baby laughed, reaching up toward the glowing sky. Lydia kissed her tiny forehead. You will never want for love, she whispered. They went to visit Benjamin's grave together soon after. This time, they brought flowers, not just lilies of mourning, but bright sunflowers of new life. Lydia placed her hand on the gravestone. I failed you once, she murmured. But I will honor you every day forward. Your family is safe. I promise. Emily knelt beside her, the baby gripping Benjamin's picture with innocent fingers. Lydia realized something profound. This wasn't just closure. It was a new beginning. As they walked away together, the wind carried the faintest sound, almost like laughter, like a son finally at peace. Before you leave, Lydia turns back one last time, speaking not to the wind, but to those who watched their story unfold.